Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
Do you ever get played so hard? You start questioning if you were the crazy one? Like you're sitting there with receipts, literal proof, and somehow you're the one apologizing? That's how good she was. Talia didn't just lie. She crafted an entire universe where I was the villain. And everybody else? They bought season tickets to watch me burn. But what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had a front row seat to her performance. And one day the mask didn't just slip. It shattered. Talia was the kind of girl people defended without even knowing the full story. The soft voice, sad eyes, he just doesn't understand me type. She always had a new struggle, a new villain, a new reason why the world was against her. And I was stupid enough to think I was her safe space. Picture this. 23 years old, works at a non-profit helping kids, volunteers at animal shelters on weekends, makes her own jewelry, reads poetry, cries at movies about dogs. She had this way of making you feel like you were the first person to really see her, like everyone else had missed something precious, but you got it. She collected broken things, vintage cameras that didn't work, plants she swore she could save, people who thought they could save her back. Our relationship started like a Spotify love playlist, indie concerts where she'd close her eyes and sway like the music was moving through her soul, matching hoodies she'd steal and look better in than me, her saying things like, "Mason, I finally feel seen, like really seen." Spoiler alert, I was about to feel invisible. The thing about Talia was that she made being vulnerable feel like a superpower. She'd tell you her deepest fears on the second date, cry in your car about her childhood, make you feel like you were the only person strong enough to hold her pain. Looking back, that should have been the first red flag. But when someone hands you their heart that fast, you don't question why they're so comfortable bleeding in front of strangers. The first real red flag was wrapped in a joke. We were at her friend Maya's birthday party, and Talia was telling this story about her college roommate. How she'd convinced the girl that she was the reason their dorm room felt negative. How she'd gotten her to switch rooms by crying to the RA about feeling unsafe. She laughed while she told it. "I just have this gift," she said, eyes sparkling. "I can make people feel responsible for my feelings. It's like my superpower." Everyone laughed, including me. Not because it was funny, because I didn't get it yet. I thought she was being self-deprecating, making fun of herself for being dramatic. Now I know she was confessing. 3 months in, her ex messaged me on Instagram. 2 words, "Call me." I almost didn't. But something about the way he'd said it, no drama, no anger, just tired. "Look, man," he said when I called. "I'm not trying to break you guys up, I'm not even mad at you, I just don't want you to lose everything like I did." He told me about the loans, the credit cards she'd opened in his name, the friends who stopped talking to him because she'd convinced them he was controlling, the family members who thought he'd cheated on her. "She's going to tell you I'm crazy," he said, "that I'm stalking her, that I can't let go. But I moved to Portland, man. I haven't talked to her in 2 years. I see the way she posts about you, and it's exactly how she used to post about me. Like you're perfect, like you saved her." "Maybe I did," I said. He was quiet for a long time, then, "That's what I thought too. I used to think arguments were just messy love. You fight, you figure it out, you make up, right? But with Talia, every disagreement ended with me apologizing for something she did. She'd twist the narrative so tight, I'd forget what we were even arguing about. Like the time she canceled our anniversary plans to help a friend move. We'd booked this cabin in the mountains 3 months in advance. I'd taken the day off work. She called 2 hours before we were supposed to leave. "Baby, I'm so sorry," she said, and I could hear her already crying. "But Jess is going through this horrible breakup, and she needs me to help her pack. She's literally having a panic attack." I was disappointed, but I got it. Friends come first sometimes. "Okay," I said. "Want me to come help?" No, she's really fragile right now. She doesn't want any guys around, you understand, right? You're so good about this stuff." 2 hours later, she posted a boomerang from a rooftop party. Designer dress, champagne glass, that golden hour lighting that made her look like she belonged in a magazine. The friend she was helping. Tagged in the post, his arm around her waist. Caption, "Sometimes you gotta choose peace over people." When I asked about it, suddenly I was controlling, insecure, and too sensitive. She cried, Real tears, the kind that made her mascara run in perfect streaks down her cheeks. "I can't believe you're tracking my social media," she sobbed. "That's not healthy, Mason. That's not love." And somehow I ended up comforting her, apologizing for checking Instagram, promising to work on my trust issues. That friend, Jess? His next post was a mirror selfie in what looked like Talia's bathroom. Caption: "Can't believe I finally get to call you mine." The really sick part wasn't just that Talia cheated, it was how she turned my discovery of it into evidence that I was the problem. She told people I was manipulative, jealous, unstable, that I went through her phone, that I showed up at her work, that I threatened her friends. None of it was true, but it didn't matter. Talia had spent months positioning herself as the victim of every situation. When she needed people to believe she was the victim of me, they already had practice. I lost James first. We'd been friends since college, but his girlfriend was close with Talia. "Look, man," he said over beers one night, "I have to believe women, and Talia's really struggling right now." "She's struggling because she got caught cheating," I said. "That's not what I heard." "Then what did you hear?" He wouldn't say, just kept shaking his head like I was disappointing him, like he'd expected better from me. Then I lost Sarah, who'd been in my life since high school. She texted me, "I don't know what happened between you and Talia, but the way she talks about you, it's scary, Mason. Maybe you should talk to someone." The way she talks about me, like I was some kind of monster, like I was dangerous. I started keeping a journal, writing down conversations word for word, taking screenshots of texts, saving voicemails, not because I planned to use them, but because I needed proof for myself that I wasn't losing my mind. One of her friends made a mistake, a beautiful, perfect mistake. It was a group text about someone's birthday party. Talia's friend Emma was organizing it, and she accidentally included me in a thread with 5 other people. I was probably still in her contacts from when Talia and I were together. The text I saw wasn't meant for me. "Emma, if Mason shows up tonight, just remember what we talked about. Keep the story straight about New Year's." Maya, "What if he asks directly?" Emma, "Just say Talia was with you sick at your place, that's it." Jess, "He's not going to believe that. He postmated her soup." Emma, "Then he won't ask." New Year's Eve, the night she said she was homesick, coughing alone, watching Netflix. The night I sent her chicken noodle soup and Dayquil and stayed on FaceTime with her until she fell asleep. I scrolled up in my photos until I found the picture she'd sent me that night. Her in bed, hair in a messy bun, holding a mug of tea, looking pale and sweet and grateful. I reverse image searched it. Pinterest, posted in 2019. Stock photo titled "Sick Day Aesthetic." She hadn't even bothered to take her own fake sick photo. Then came the therapy card, you know the one. Suddenly every boundary I set was triggering. Every concern I voiced was emotional violence. Every time I asked for honesty, I was re-traumatizing her. "My therapist says I need to be careful about people who make me feel unsafe," she told me over coffee, her voice soft and sad. "And Mason, the way you question everything I say, it reminds me of my dad." Her dad, who she'd told me was emotionally abusive, who she'd said made her feel crazy, made her doubt her own reality. The irony was so thick I could taste it. But here's the thing that really got me. She told people I didn't support her healing journey, told them I was sabotaging her growth. Meanwhile, I was the one paying for her sessions. $180 a week for her to sit in some office and tell a licensed professional that I was the reason she couldn't sleep. "Dr. Martinez says you have narcissistic tendencies," she told me one Thursday after her appointment. "She says the way you need to be right all the time is a form of control." I wanted to call Dr. Martinez myself, ask her if she knew her patient was using therapy terms like weapons, if she knew that her professional language was being twisted into ammunition. Instead, I asked Talia if we could go to couples counseling. "I can't," she said immediately. "Dr. Martinez says couples therapy isn't safe when there's emotional abuse involved." Emotional abuse, that's what I was guilty of now. Asking questions, wanting honesty, expecting her to show up when she said she would. I tried to have one last conversation with her, about the lies, about the cheating, about the way she was painting me to our friends. I had screenshots, timestamps, proof. She looked at me across my kitchen table. The same table where she'd cried about her ex being crazy, where she'd made me promise I'd never make her feel unsafe like he had, and said the words that broke something in me I didn't know could break. Mason, my therapist, says I need to distance myself from anything that disturbs my peace. Translation, you caught me and I need to disappear before the whole house of cards falls down. She ghosted me for a week. Complete radio silence. When mutual friends asked where she was, I told them I didn't know. Because I didn't. When she came back, she had a story ready. Her phone had been stolen. She'd been staying with her sister, dealing with family drama she couldn't talk about yet. She was sorry for disappearing, but she'd needed space to heal. It was a good story. It would have been a great story, except she forgot to turn off location sharing on Instagram. While she was dealing with family drama, she'd posted stories from Miami Beach, sunset shots from a hotel balcony, a mirror selfie in a bathroom I didn't recognize, food photos from restaurants I'd never been to, and in the background of one video, just for a second, just barely visible, was the same guy from the rooftop party, the one who'd posted about finally being able to call her his. That's when I stopped being quiet. I didn't post a rant, didn't write some long, detailed Facebook essay about toxic relationships and manipulation tactics, didn't make a TikTok about narcissistic abuse or share quotes about healing from betrayal. I posted one thing, one screenshot, no caption, no explanation, just her text to me from 3 months earlier. If you ever tell anyone what you know about me, I'll say you hit me, and they'll believe me because I know how to cry on command. Try me. It had been during one of our fights about her lying. She'd been caught in something, I can't even remember what now, and instead of apologizing, she'd gone nuclear, threatened to destroy my life if I didn't shut up and fall in line. At the time, I'd been so shocked I'd just stared at my phone. Later, I'd convinced myself she didn't mean it, that she was just hurt and lashing out. But I'd kept the screenshot just in case. The post blew up in ways I never expected. Not because I was trying to go viral, not because I wanted attention or revenge, because people recognized the text for what it was. A confession. A confession that she knew exactly what she was doing, that she'd weaponized people's default instinct to believe victims, that she'd been planning her narrative all along. Comments poured in. People sharing their own stories about partners who'd threatened them the same way. People apologizing for believing lies about me. People finally asking questions about the other relationships she'd destroyed. Her friends turned on her. Not all of them, but enough. Emma texted me, "I'm sorry, I knew something felt off, but I thought I was supposed to believe women no matter what." James called, "Dude, I owe you a massive apology. She showed me texts that made you look insane, but now I'm wondering if she wrote them herself." Sarah sent a long message about how sorry she was, how she'd felt pressured to choose sides, how she'd never felt right about cutting me off but hadn't known how to say it. The guy she'd been cheating with, Jess, posted his own story about how Talia had told him I was abusive, how she'd love-bombed him while she was still with me, how she'd made him feel like he was saving her from something terrible. He'd been another victim, just like me, just like her ex before me. Talia's TikTok went private overnight. Her Instagram turned off comments. She posted one story, a black screen with white text. "When you speak your truth, not everyone will understand. That's okay. Healing isn't pretty." Then she disappeared from social media entirely. I'm not bitter anymore. I was for a while. Angry at her, angry at myself, angry at everyone who'd chosen her story over my reality. But now I'm just better, because I learned something about myself that I wouldn't have learned any other way. I have a voice and I'm allowed to use it. For months, I'd let her make me feel crazy for trusting my own eyes, my own memory, my own experience. I'd apologized for having feelings, for asking questions, for expecting basic honesty. I'd made myself smaller and smaller, trying to fit into her version of who I should be. The grateful boyfriend, the one who didn't ask too many questions, the one who believed whatever story she was selling that week. But some people don't want love. They want an audience. They want to perform their pain and have someone applaud. They want to wear your goodness like a costume until it fits them better than it ever fit you. Talia played the victim so well, I didn't realize I was just another one of hers. But even the best performances have to end eventually. And when the curtain finally drops, when the lights come up and the audience goes home, all that's left is the truth. The truth is that I deserved better. That asking for honesty isn't controlling, that paying attention isn't stalking, that wanting someone to show up when they say they will isn't emotional abuse. The truth is that some people are exactly who they show you they are, even when they're trying to convince you they're someone else. And the truth is that walking away from someone who makes you question your own reality isn't giving up on love. It's choosing it. It's choosing yourself. 6 months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop downtown. She was with someone new, a guy who looked young, eager, grateful to be there. The way I used to look. She saw me first. For just a second, her face went completely blank, like she was calculating, deciding which version of herself to put on. Then she smiled. That same soft, sad smile she used to give me when she needed me to forget she'd hurt me. "Mason," she said, like we were old friends who'd simply lost touch. "How are you?" "I'm good," I said, and I meant it. The guy next to her looked confused, maybe a little worried. She probably hadn't mentioned me, or if she had, it wasn't the real version. "This is Tyler," she said, her hand on his arm, possessive and protective. "Tyler, this is Mason. We used to date." Used to date. Like we'd had some casual thing that just faded out naturally. Tyler nodded, still looking uncertain. I could see him trying to figure out if I was the crazy ex she'd probably told him about, or just some normal guy getting coffee. "Nice to meet you," I said to him. Then to her, "Take care of yourself, Talia." I walked away before she could respond. But I heard her talking to Tyler in that voice I knew so well. "Sorry, that was just unexpected. He's harmless, don't worry." He's harmless. The same thing she'd probably said about her ex before me. The same thing she'd say about Tyler to whoever came next. I finished my coffee outside, watching people walk by, thinking about how strange it was that someone could know you so intimately and still not know you at all. Talia knew my coffee order, my favorite songs, the scar on my knee from when I fell off my bike at 7. She knew how to make me laugh, how to make me worry, how to make me question everything I thought I knew about myself. But she never knew who I actually was underneath all of that. She only knew who she needed me to be. And maybe that was the saddest part of all. Not that she lied or cheated or manipulated, but that she looked at someone who loved her, really loved her, and saw only what she could use. I hope Tyler figures it out faster than I did. I hope he trusts himself when the stories stop making sense. I hope he remembers that love isn't supposed to make you feel crazy. And I hope someday, Talia figures out that the only person she's really been lying to all this time is herself. But that's not my story to tell anymore. This one is mine, and I'm finally ready to own it.